Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Hope all are you fine. Today our topic is process of listening or stages of listening. For listening to be effective and meaningful, the process of listening should involve the following steps. These are undivided attention or receiving, hearing, understanding or comprehending, interpreting, evaluating, emphasizing, conceptualizing. Now we discuss one by one in detail. First one is undivided attention or receiving. Effective listening requires a certain frame of mind. The process of listening is rooted in attentively hearing the message. As you read earlier, there are many factors that can interfere with listening, so you need to be able to manage a number of mental tasks at the same time in order to be a successful listener. The listener in this phase discriminates between thoughts, ideas or images that belong in his or her focus of attention and those that float on its margin and must be kept from entering into conscious consideration. Hearing. Hearing is the first and basic step in the listening process and relates to the sensory perception of sound. Listening involves hearing distinct sound and perceiving fine modulations in tone. The listener further processes the perceived sound. For learning to be effective, hearing needs to be done with attention and concentration. Number 3 is understanding or comprehending. The next level of listening consists of comprehending or understanding. The listener understands or interprets what the speaker has tried to convey. This activity can be described as observing or assimilating. In order to grasp the meaning of the message, the listener uses his knowledge, experience, perception and cognitive power. The verbal and auditory message is coupled with non-verbal communication to understand it. Interpreting. Next step is interpreting. Understanding and interpretation follow the phase of hearing. The listener attempts to comprehend what is heard. Understanding the language may not be enough for fully comprehending the message and successfully participating in the act of communication. It should be accompanied by the ability to interpret what is communicated, which occurs when the listener takes account of his or her own knowledge and experience. Evaluating. The next stage in the listening process is evaluating or judging the value of the message. We might be thinking, this makes sense, or conversely, this is very odd. Because everyone embodies biases and perspectives learned from widely diverse sets of life experiences, evaluations of the same message can vary widely from one listener to another. Even the most open-minded listeners will have opinions of a speaker, and those opinions will influence how the message is evaluated. People are more likely to evaluate a message positively if the speaker speaks clearly, presents ideas logically and gives reasons to support the points made. Unfortunately, personal opinions sometimes results in prejudiced evaluations. Imagine you are listening to a speech given by someone from another country and this person has an accent that is hard to understand. You may have a hard time simply making out the speaker's message. Some people find a foreign accent to be interesting or even exotic, while others find it annoying or even take it as a sign of ignorance. If a listener has a strong bias against foreign accents, the listener may not even attempt to attend the message. If you mistrust a speaker because of an accent, you could be rejecting important or personally enriching information. Good listeners have learned to refrain from making these judgments and instead to focus on the speaker's meanings. Next one is emphasizing. As sympathetic listener sees the speaker's point of view, he or she may not agree with what is said, yet such a listener allows the other person to say what he or she wants to say. Next one is conceptualizing. Conceptualization occurs when the listener finally assimilates what has been heard in the context of his or her own knowledge and experience. This is why listening is not only important but also indispensable for perfect communication. However, two more points are important, and these are formative feedback and summative feedback. First, we discuss about formative feedback. Not all response occurs at the end of the message. Formative feedback is a natural part of the ongoing transaction between a speaker and a listener. As the speaker delivers the message, a listener signals his or her involvement with focused attention, note-taking, nodding, and other behaviors that indicate understanding or failure to understand the message. These signals are important to the speaker, who is interested in whether the message is clear and accepted or whether the content of the message is meeting the resistance of preconceived ideas. Speakers can use this feedback to decide whether additional examples, support materials, or explanation is needed. And the most important example of formative feedback is that after this lecture, I will send you some notes and materials on WhatsApp group which helps you to understand easily. Next one is summative feedback. Summative feedback is given at the end of the communication. When you attend a political rally or presentation given by a speaker you admire, or even a class, there are verbal and non-verbal ways of indicating your appreciation for or your disagreement with the messages or the speakers at the end of the message. Maybe you will stand up and applaud a speaker you agreed with, or just still sit staring in silence after listening to a speaker you did not like. In other cases, a speaker may be attempting to persuade you to donate a charity, so if the speaker passes a bucket and you make a donation, you are providing feedback on the speaker's effectiveness. At the same time, We do not always listen most carefully to the messages of speakers we admire. Sometimes we simply enjoy being in their presence, and our summative feedback is not about the message but about our attitudes about the speaker. If your feedback is limited to something like, "I just love your voice," you might be indicating that you did not listen carefully to the content of the message. There is little doubt that by now you are beginning to understand the complexity of listening and the great potentials for errors. By becoming aware of what is involved, the active listening, and where difficulties might lie, you can prepare yourself for both as a listener and as a speaker to minimize listening errors with your own public speeches. Key points. The undivided attention or receiving stage of listening is the basic stage where an individual hears a message being sent by a speaker. The understanding stage of listening occurs when a receiver of a message attempts to figure out the meaning of the message. The remembering stage of listening is when a listener either places information into long-term memory or forgets the information presented. The evaluating stage of listening occurs when a listener judges the content of the message or the character of the speaker. The responding stage of listening occurs when a listener provides verbal or non-verbal feedback about the speaker or message. During the responding stage of listening, listeners can provide speakers with two types of feedback designed to help a speaker know whether a listener is understanding and what the listener thinks of a message. Formative feedback is given while the speaker is engaged in the act of speech making. Summative feedback is given at the conclusion of a speech. Practical activity. Dear students, practical activity of this lecture for you is: number 1. Make a list of some of the abstract words you have misunderstood. What were the consequences of the misunderstanding, and then discuss with me through WhatsApp or through online system. Number 2. Reflect on your listening in class or in other settings where remembering information is important. What keeps you from remembering important information accurately? However, here class means online system in your own homes or drawing rooms. So, listen carefully and remember information in chunks, then gather them all. If any one of you face some problems, then discuss with me in detail. At the end, number 3 is: give an example of a time when you felt that your message was misunderstood or treated with shallow attention. How did you know your message had been misunderstood or rejected? What does this mean you must do as a student of public speaking? Thank you so much.